This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Monday, August the 14th. We have had this date circled.
Have we?
Because I went away, and then you went away, and there was a lot of, see you on August the 14th.
Yes, and there was no reunited clip.
And
That's right.
And I have heard that all morning.
All morning.
Probably well-deserved.
I think it is.
Because it makes you wonder,
You have
right?
conditioned me, Mark. You said it's not relevant. You've moved on. Bull-loney. You play it every time, and you say it's an expected thing. It is an expected thing. Listeners have come to expect it.
And then I didn't have it.
And you have pulled the rug out from all of us and been like, nope, and done that little hand gesture from friends and been like, screw you guys, I'm not doing it.
Right. I have moved on.
It's like you've crossed your arms and been like, nope, not going to happen. And much to my disappointment.
Okay. So having it tomorrow doesn't do anything.
No, it doesn't do anything tomorrow. Tomorrow, it's done. No, it was meant for today. Today, we were back together after 2 weeks.
And there was no
But
reunited
that's fine.
clip.
No,
Okay.
that's fine.
Well, I'm off next week, so I'll have it again for the week after. But
It won't be the same.
It won't be the same.
Won't be
All
the
right.
same.
Okay. Well,
But
feel
it
like
is hard. It's hard to believe that, because I'm looking at the calendar right now, going through our schedule over the next few weeks. You're away next week.
Next week.
And then the week after is the last week of August.
Right.
Like
And
there's
that's Labor
literally
Day.
3 weeks of summer left.
That's it.
And then we'll be playing, or are we? Are we going to play September Morn? Because if you tell me we're not going to play September Morn, I am going to throw this desk and run out. I'm done. I'm done.
We're playing September more.
Because then we'll play September Morn because kids will be back in school.
Oh my gosh, can you believe
It's
it?
crazy.
Like,
Is
it
that
is
not
nuts.
kind
It
of
is.
nuts to think
Yeah.
about? Where did it go?
I know. It's
done.
but you had a good week off? Like did you start checking
We have not.
boxes, right? Back to school shopping, check.
Yeah. We try to go away during the summer. We haven't gone away. It's just been it's been very different this year.
Yeah.
And it's been wonderful.
Yeah.
It's been a lot of staycations and day trips. And yes, we did go back to school shopping, and we had some ball in there, and we did Wayne's family has a cottage on the other side of town. So we did go across town and stay for a couple of nights. But we haven't it's just been ticking boxes. It hasn't been like a big, long
Campbellford road trip.
Yeah.
Last night, after a wonderful barbecue dinner that I threw together, I was very proud of myself. It was very good.
Okay.
I said to Mrs. Philbin, do you know what we have not done this summer yet? And that is gone for ice cream. We've done a few treats.
Yes, you have.
But I mean, like, let's go get some scoop ice cream. Let's just go somewhere. Let's go for a road trip for the express purpose of going to get some ice cream. And we thought we're too tired.
You haven't gone for ice cream?
So we haven't.
You've been to like Dairy Queen and stuff. You've got your treats.
Like we've run out for a treat, but we want to go down to Wellington and see Sandy, right? At the old greenhouse.
Yes, we haven't done that yet
Like, this
either.
is nuts. It's the middle of August.
And we have to do
By now,
that.
I've gone 5 times.
Not yet.
But it was just like squeezing the time and making plans.
You haven't been camping either.
No.
Like you usually go, like this is, you have been camping, but not like you.
Not like I normally do. It's been a weird summer.
It has.
It's been a strange
Not that it's
summer.
been a bad summer. It's just been different. For instance, usually I don't take a week in August. And last week I was off. And it was the Campbellford Fair. And we did that, which was a lot of fun.
Now, did you have to MC anything? Did you have to be Charity Brown?
No.
You could be Charity
I was
Kirk
not Charity
all the time.
Brown the entire week I was off.
That's crazy.
It was amazing. It was amazing. But you know what I found? Nobody wants to ride rides with me.
Why is that? Do you get nauseous?
No, I love rides. I do. But every adult I asked to ride a ride with me on Friday said, no, I don't do rides. I don't do rides.
Like
I'm like, what is wrong with you people? Finally, a friend of ours, their 13-year-old daughter, took pity on me because my kids wouldn't even ride the rides with me because now they're embarrassed by mom.
Oh, so they'll go on it, just not with you.
Just not with me.
Oh, okay.
But Isabella, God bless her, she's like, no, come on, we'll go on the Scrambler. I'm like, really? She said, yeah, come on. So we went on the Scrambler. And then while we're on the Scrambler, she's like, okay, we're going to do that one next. I'm like, seriously? I said, you don't have to ride. She's like, no, I want to. My friends are totally fine. Let's go. I'm like, this is amazing.
You pointed up. What was the other one? Like the salt
There was
and
like
pepper?
it was, it was called the Paratrooper. So it was like these little cars with umbrellas.
Okay.
And it was like a fast Ferris wheel on an angle.
Oh, right, yeah.
So your legs are dangling.
Yep.
And you're kind of going, it was
Right,
awesome. I went
yep.
on that, I think, 3 or 4 times.
But
God bless her. Like she took pity on this old woman and thought, no, you can come with me because nobody else will ride
there's a
with
ride
you.
like that. I think it was called the Octopus before. The same thing,
It's similar,
right?
but you're not in little cars.
Okay.
You're
yeah.
it's like a parachute above you. So
Right.
you're kind of sitting with your legs out. I don't even know how to describe it.
No, I believe I can picture it. Yeah.
But it was fun. Campbellford Fair is always fun.
Tilt-A-Whirl, did they have that?
They didn't have the tilt-a-whirl.
Okay.
It had an accident last year.
Okay.
So I think they're a little leery about bringing it back. I was disappointed they didn't have, because that's my favorite.
Sure.
Tilt-a-whirl.
Yeah, I knew that.
Love the tilt-a-whirl.
Yeah.
But yes,
I think
fairs. I love fairs.
I think I'm too old. It was just everything hurts now. It's like, oh, geez, I lose my balance. And
Oh no, I love rides, but to find another adult to ride a ride with me, my God, I didn't realize it was that hard.
160th Sterling Fair is this
weekend. Sterling Fair is amazing. It is
Yep.
always one of the big ones.
Yep.
A great fair. Great fair to go to.
And then the InQuinte exhibition will be coming
Yep.
up on the August long weekend, wrapping up on the Sunday. It'll go Thursday till Sunday.
Shannonville World's Fair also coming up.
Yep.
It's next week. It's the weekend after this
Right.
weekend.
So-
Marmor Fair's the end of the month. I've been plugging them all in here. And then September, so Marmor kicks it off, and then Picton, Tyndonega, Warkworth, and then Norwood's in October.
Yeah. So
the Norwood Fair.
It's super busy.
Love it.
And
Love
it's
it.
InQuinte Rib Fest Part 2. Belleville hosts it this weekend.
Yep.
So you say, now wait a minute, you're driving down the 401 and you're listening somewhere else in the world saying, excuse me, why do you guys get 2 Rib Fests? Because we're awesome. It's the answer. You could live anywhere in the world, but you choose not to live here.
You chose somewhere other than the Quinte area.
That gets you 2 Rib Fests and all these fairs and a podcast. And Charity, who has every right to be angry because I didn't play Reunited this morning.
I'm very angry.
So, yeah. So that's what's going on.
But also one of the things we did last week, too, we got started on I say get started. We went back to school shopping.
Yeah.
And I would like to say it was one day and done, but I know it's not. Realistically, it's not. But you have a number there, and it's not going to come nearly to that number by the time we're done.
We brought
how much we spent.
Brought this up, and then listeners started chiming in because I didn't understand it. So I'm happy to say,
I don't understand it.
Yeah, I'm happy to say it isn't just us, because according to Deloitte, who have surveys, and this was printed out in Forbes, either on their website or in their magazine, on how much money is spent on back to school. So as an industry in North America, it is north of $41 billion.
It's a huge industry.
Right.
I understand that.
Back to school, it's a big shot in
Yes.
the arm for the economy. Got it. The actual price of school supplies, which I would say are calculators that nobody has because it's on phones. Maybe phones are included in that. Anyway, the price of school supplies in the last 2 years has jumped 23%.
I believe that. Everything's jumped.
Yeah,
Like, it's
exactly.
stupid.
So it's like, holy smokes. Cost of clothes is up 3%. Food costs are up 5%.
We know that.
And housing rose 7.7% year over year as of
So
last
those going
July.
away to post-secondary.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
now
Okay.
we've got either on-site dorms, the cost, or just renting a house off campus, 7.7. So the average then for elementary through high school students.
So not post-secondary.
No.
That was going to be, okay, so these are just
From
elementary
kindergarten
and
through,
secondary.
there we are,
Okay.
$890 this year.
And that's what I don't understand.
per student.
Per kid.
Yeah.
Because,
Let
I don't.
me ask the awkward question, because I didn't ask it on the air. It didn't actually occur to me. You have 2 boys. Do you
yes.
think it goes up because it's girls? I don't know, because somebody had said the pressure
Maybe.
to fit in. And then I thought, okay, sometimes that is a
Cosmetics.
greater struggle for young ladies
Yes.
than it is for boys.
Cosmetics and accessories, possibly, but that still seems like an exorbitant amount of money to spend
$900
on back to school. Because as Patty Lynn, one of our listeners, pointed out on our texting, and I agree with her completely, because what we bought last week, I splurged a little bit because I picked up a couple of shirts for my kids. Did they need the shirts? No, but my boys aren't shoppers. So if they see something and they're like, oh, I really like that, and it's reasonably priced, which it was, I don't feel bad picking it up. They needed shoes. So that's what we were really looking for. And they got shoes. If they need something to go back to school with, that's what I consider back to school shopping. Not to go and just buy. And that's what Patty Lynn pointed out too. She said, they don't need a whole new wardrobe. So she didn't quite get it either. And when it comes to supplies, I actually don't buy it until after they've started. And then it's like, okay, what are you lacking? Like now that you're back in class, what do you find you don't have? And then we'll go get that. It's not a matter of buying a new backpack and new supplies every year. It's kind of like, okay, what are you short on? And we'll go and replenish it kind of thing. If you need a pencil, we'll go buy a pack of pencils. Here you go.
Yeah. Grab some pens on your way out for the first day.
Yeah, go to the junk drawer, see what just to get you through the first day.
Right.
And then we know what you need instead of just buying all this crap that sits there. So the $900, I don't quite understand what they're buying.
So from an economic point of view, if the majority of our listeners, and I'll assume they are based because nobody went in and said, oh, I wish I only spent $900 because I wanted to get from some of those. Okay, if you spent over $900 on what?
What?
Did that include laptops? Did that include
But you're talking
Chromebooks?
Elementary to high school, not post-secondary. Post-secondary I could get because, I think you're getting into bigger purchases to get them going, in, like their textbooks or electronics, technology. Because I think for the most part, technology is supplied in a lot of schools, unless you want your own, and then maybe. But
boys use the same backpack as last year.
They did. Ben got a new one because his came home with a hole at the end of. So I knew. So again, I knew we'd have to buy him a new backpack. I didn't buy Nathan a new backpack because his is fine.
Right. Yeah.
So it's kind of like, okay, what do you need? Not necessarily what you want.
How much is a new backpack these days? What'll run you? 35?
Depends.
40?
We got, I will say this, and we got an Under Armour one, which was on sale.
Okay, yep.
But it's a good brand.
Big brand name, yep.
And it's well built.
Got it.
And with Ben, he needs something.
He's an athlete.
Durable.
Yeah.
It was about $60.
Sure. Okay.
But I said that to him. I said, that's fine, but this is it. Like if this craps out around Christmas, guess what you're taking?
Yeah.
You're going to take the same one. So treat it well. Take care of it because I'm not buying you another one. And he knows that.
See, when Mom says that, I know the final price tag isn't $900. Because I could picture my mom. It's like, look after this. So here's your stuff, which at that time was a pencil case. Stop stabbing holes in it with your pens. Stop trying to make a hole because you're too lazy to unzip the top. Mark Thomas. Long story. It's a long story.
Jeez.
But so they took a look at that for post-secondary education. So the average cost for college student, if it's $900 pre that, it's now $1,367.
And that kind of makes sense to me. I don't scoff at that so much because, again, as I said, textbooks, maybe technology.
I don't think clothes is in because I don't think you're buying clothes at this point.
I don't think so. I don't think that's clothes at all. I think it's just school supplies, what you're going to need in the classroom.
So if you don't own a tablet, you probably do now.
Yeah.
A reader, a laptop. Maybe they include phones in that. I'm sure they've already had one that they don't need a new phone.
See, phones to me isn't school. That's kind of personal. That's a personal device. But like a Chromebook or a laptop, like a desktop, something along those lines for your dorm room or for class.
It's interesting. It had here as part of the article that most parents in search of lower prices go to big box and discount stores, which is like, of course, that makes sense. But also they said the shoppers report that they focus only on the essentials and they hold back on new clothes and tech. So
again, what are they spending $900 on?
If times
are you
are
buying
tight,
your child Air Jordans to go back to school?
Yeah,
because let me tell you, that didn't happen in our house.
And we'll buy you 3 pair in case the laces break in the other one.
If I can find shoes, especially for Nathan, because now he's wearing men's. The kid has ginormous feet. It is ridiculous, and he's still growing. If I can find anything under $100, I'm like, yes, I don't even care. We're buying them.
Nathan's going into what grade?
7.
7. Different school?
Nope, same school.
Same school.
Same
okay,
because
some
there
of them
until 8.
They swap.
Yep. Nope, he doesn't go into high school until 9.
Okay.
So he's in the same school.
Now, you're going to talk about your son because there's something you didn't mention on the show this morning. And that's okay because I creep your life on socials. He got a nice little baseball award. Nathan did.
Nathan, that. So ball season is wrapping up. Nathan hasn't played ball since he was a junior mite. So that was, I think he got above the T-ball.
Right.
I think he was a season after T-ball. Hasn't played. And then this year decided, you know what, I think I want to try it. And a lot had to do with who was coaching. And I give him a lot of credit because he knew the coach and he felt comfortable with the coach. So he's like, no, if Curtis is going to coach, he said, yeah, I think I will try it. So he went out and he started playing back catcher. I guess I keep being sorry, catcher. He became the catcher. Just got thrown in during one game, said, you know what, try it. Took to it immediately, loved it, and had a great season. And received the most dedicated award at the end of the season.
Isn't that nice, Mom?
Yep.
They all didn't get those, did that?
No, they didn't. They didn't. But yeah, he had a really great season. I was very, very proud of him and happy for him.
And then now what, right? Because it never ends. It
never ends. Ben is still playing ball. He's got one more week. He goes into his championship weekend this weekend, and then we'll be done. But hockey also starts this week.
It's already going. Are they on the ice yet?
Well, that's what. Yeah, he'll be on the ice as of today.
As of today, there's ice.
It's not like it's not regular. He's just in a group to get his legs under him right now.
Sure.
And then it starts the middle of September, I think, officially.
Okay, gets going.
So
Speaking of
it's
which,
not.
We're chatting with David Foote today. We'll have him for you tomorrow on the air, talking about the new Belleville Senators website to make it easy for you to get your tickets, stay up to date with the team, swap tickets around. It's all in a way to try and get away from paper tickets, right? Once it's in your phone and off your laptop.
More environmentally friendly.
Yes. Then you've got that. So we're going to have him as well on the Mark and Charity Coffee podcast. Like, what does an AHL team do in August? Apparently it's like a duck. Looks pretty calm up top, but there's a lot of paddling going on underneath.
As you said, there really is no downtime.
Yeah.
Things have changed so much that even during summer vacation, these guys are not really on vacation. They're getting ready for the next season. So.
And of course, as part of the off season, new ownership change came in for
a lot
the
of changes last year.
organization.
A lot of changes.
So we'll see. We asked him how much of that do we think will filter down here to Belleville. So his truthful answer on that coming up in the podcast tomorrow, as well as on air. Tomorrow, would you still want to use the movie Summer Blockbuster?
Yeah.
I did 20 years ago, Thursday of last week while you were on vacation, and that was Holes.
Okay.
Which was such a good movie. Have you ever seen Holes?
Yes. It's been a while, but yes, it was really good.
I remember watching that going, this Shia LaBeouf, he's such a good actor. I hope he has a great career. I had no idea he was going to grease fire.
To be fair, he is a really good actor.
He is,
right.
He just has issues.
Sabotages himself all the time, which is unfortunate.
And then
but that movie was very good.
And then John Voight was in it. Another guy who sabotages himself all the time.
Yes,
and the
unfortunately.
Great Skirney Weaver. And Henry Winkler was in it. Forgotten all about the Curse of the Yell Nats. And what a good movie. It was so anyway.
So we're going to do a movie tomorrow?
10 years old. What movie was the #1 movie in August of 2013?
Oh.
Don't just Google it. That would be cheating, and the answer, by the way, is kind of inappropriate. So here we go. That movie clip is so funny.
It's funny you mentioned 20 years ago because we can't wrap this up without mentioning that on this date 20 years ago was the 14th, big outage in Ontario. Not just Ontario, the eastern coastline of North America. 55 million people.
Affected,
No power for up to 9 days. 9 days. I came across a timeline after we talked about it this morning and a breakdown of some of the numbers, like certain stats. I put it up on our Facebook. Like, for instance, the day after, how long did people wait in line at a Tim Hortons for coffee?
Oh.
In North Bay.
In North Bay. So they
still must have had power.
Or they had a generator
Or they had a generator.
How long were people willing to? 2 hours.
Close, 90 minutes.
90 minutes.
People were waiting in line up to 90 minutes to get their coffee the day after.
And this is August. So it's not like it's super cold in North Bay.
Nope.
Wow.
And how one woman spent... She was 87 years old. She was stuck in an elevator in Hamilton.
Oh, my gosh.
For 12 hours before they could get her out. And all I could think of, you know what I thought of first off? And I realized she's 87, and God love her and bless her and keep her safe. All I could think of was, how'd she go to the bathroom?
Right.
Like, that's my immediate thought was, what if you had to be 12 hours in an elevator?
Would. I mean, I'm 60, and I couldn't go an hour.
10,000 batteries were sold by Radio Shack the day after the blackout.
Yeah.
What was some of the other ones? 18.9 million hours of work lost because of the blackout. That's from Statistics Canada. And the number of recommendations put into place since the final report was released, because of course they had to look in to see why everything came down.
Never happens again.
23. That's it.
That's it?
That's it.
Which probably was...
I kind of was like, only 23.
Stop having field fires in Ohio. And if you're going to have a fire, don't have it near electrical wires.
Should everything be connected the way it is?
Yeah. Should we have one guy in charge of one button?
Well, and that's the other thing. The supervisor, the big guy watching the alarms go off, literally like 4 go off and then 30,000 within seconds. He's like, you're watching the monitor, and it was all on a monitor. Like you're in a room of 11 monitors, and one was designated for the alarms. I was reading all this after.
Yeah, no, it's fascinating.
And the alarms start going off, and he said, so the first 4 go, and you see it come up on the screen, so you know what they are, and then all of a sudden it just starts scrolling. Like all of these messages, like it just goes crazy.
You think this can't be right. There's got to be a malfunction in that.
Something's happening.
55 people have really lost power, so he goes for coffee. No, it really has.
Yeah, it
really
has.
So,
but it's crazy to think 20 years since the outage.
Yeah, so wow, crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And
that would have been an interesting galaxy of games. It would just be silence.
I'm trying to remember how long we were off the air. I think we were on during.
On the timeline, it says by day 2, most of Ontario was back up, but power supplies were unstable. So it was very spotty or low power. So it said most of Ontario was reconnected.
My sister and brother-in-law went to a grocery store in Port Dover. They didn't lose power at all because somebody along the line figured it out and blocked a couple. So it was like the Niagara region was okay.
Yep.
Ironically enough, where a lot of the power
comes from,
comes out of North Niagara Falls. They were getting people like from Hamilton driving down for a loaf of bread, for milk, whatever they could get, and suppliers only had so much.
And they didn't raise the price.
They didn't. There's no way they would have done that. I know they didn't. They would have charged whatever they would have had to have charged. So maybe the wholesaler charged him a little bit more than he passed, but it was not this $5 for a loaf of bread.
You mentioned that this morning, and that was so good to hear, because now, look what happened during the pandemic. Like in crisis, when we have these moments, it tends to bring out the worst. So it's refreshing to hear that your brother.
But I do remember that they worked. I'll say 24 hours, but that's an exaggeration. Like to keep it, like maybe the truck, the milk truck had to come in at 1 a.m. And this is it's a food line. Like there's a food line in Sterling, right? Like think about that. This was the one in Port Dover. That's the one he owned and ran. If somebody had to be there at 1 o'clock in the morning to let them in, no, he was there.
Exactly. So meaning him, but someone was there to let them in.
Or his wife, my sister, one of them would have to go. And so they were, and again, we say it happened for 9 days. Nobody at the time knew how long this would last.
No.
We thought it's just today. And then I'm sure that when it went into day 2, it's like, no, well, it'll be up tomorrow. It'll be up tomorrow. It'll how long is this going to go on?
Ontario, I don't think was the 9 days. Because when I saw that, I'm like, I don't remember it being 9 days. Maybe 3. Because it was a Thursday.
I think it's 3 or 4.
And I think by Monday,
Tuesday,
most of Ontario, if not all of Ontario, was back running. Like we were functioning again. Because I remember you had shared where you were when it happened, and you can share that again if you want. But I had just started a new job in Barrie and was training. So going into the weekend, I was like, this is great. But Monday morning, I remember we were on the air. Like Monday we started and power was back on. So we were on the air Monday.
I heard your first show, eh? Well, I know what we're talking about. Yeah.
So we flip formats and the power goes out. But you thought you had actually caused it.
I was up at Havelock because it was the weekend of the Havelock Jamboree. It was Thursday. Performances had literally just started around 4 o'clock.
You were basically up there setting up, getting ready for
There was a house behind the stage. You came up with this idea that we would have our country station, Cool 100, broadcast from a house behind there, do cut-ins or do the show live. And her name was Debbie. And so I said, Friday mornings can be from Debbie's Kitchen. And I think the year before I had done that. And then now I'm doing mornings here on this station. So I was setting it up for the new morning guy there. And I went to go turn it on, and the power went off in their house.
At the exact moment.
Yeah. So I thought I blew their fuse. And then it's like, no, it's not working. So I thought, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I don't know what I've done. Somebody comes running in and says there's no power to the stage. And I think, holy crap, I've killed civilization. And then people are like, no, this is all over. And I'm, okay, I don't think it was me.
So did people stay for the weekend?
I don't recall.
It's a camping weekend, so I don't know if...
But I left the equipment and I had it set up, ready to go, and I came home. And I stopped in Sterling at a gas station to grab a pop. And the guy said, sorry, no, we don't have any power. And I thought, that's weird. There's no power in Havelock either. Let's try and connect the dots, Mark.
Well, but it had never happened. Like the scale of that blackout, like it was.
I didn't have a phone.
No.
There's no cell phone. I remember.
Cell phones weren't as.
Yeah, I didn't have one.
You didn't have like it was emergency only. You kept in your car. But yeah, you got to think about it now. And thankfully, I don't believe it would have been cards at the pump either. Like we wouldn't have the electronic. I think it'd still be able to function because I'm thinking back now with gas stations, you'd still be able to go and pump gas.
Yeah. I didn't
even
need
without
that.
the
I just wanted to pop.
But when you said you pulled into a gas station,
and it was
like,
dark on the inside. It's like, oh, it must be because it was hot that day. Remember, it was 31 degrees.
I looked back and saw it today because they said it was hot. 31 doesn't seem that warm now.
And I remember thinking, because by this point it would have been about 5:30 at night. You mentioned it went out at 4:11. So it's about 5:30. I'm thinking, oh, well, they shut the lights off because it's so hot, I guess. No.
They didn't have power.
Yeah,
because think about it now. If that were to happen now, no power, nothing. What would be different? What would be worse? What might be better?
Yeah.
I can't think of anything better, but I'm just thinking gas in particular because if power goes out, correct me if I'm wrong, the pumps you wouldn't be able to work the pumps either, would you?
I'm going to guess
the
right.
The majority of them?
If cell towers went down.
Cell towers,
from a communication point of view. And
you wouldn't be able to charge your phone.
Right. Happens for an hour or two, okay. But what if it was a week?
Well, look what happens when it's an hour or two.
What if it was a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
9 days. A full
Zombie
week.
apocalypse. Couldn't even deal with it. Wouldn't even know how.
Oh my gosh.
Or
That's
maybe
crazy.
it would be wonderful. Maybe it would be wonderful. Because there's no social media to get you all geared up. Mr. Trigger over here.
You might have to actually talk to people, like your neighbors. Because that was one of the things pointed out by one of the reports I read. People remembering how communities came together.
Isn't that amazing?
They would have neighborhood barbecues because, of course, your fridge and freezer isn't working. So you need to use up what you have. So, you call your neighbor and be like, this is what I have. What do you have? Let's combine it, or how can we use
barbecue.
it?
Lunches,
and you'd invite
dinners.
people over and you use it up. So they do talk about that, the nice things that the community was doing for each other to help each other.
Can happen.
It can happen.
20 years ago today at 4:11, shut your lights off just to remember what it was like.
Just to go back 20 years ago.
Make sure it works. Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast. Have a great day today. We'll talk to you tomorrow.